Hi world, this is Tina from TinaHeals.com, and today I'm speaking to you about an Aries ascendant, a Virgo moon, and a Cancer sun. So this is very interesting because you have fire, earth, and water. So with your Aries ascendant, you are cardinal fire, yang. With your Virgo moon, you are neutral earth, yin. And with your Cancer sun, you are again yin, feminine, and water, and cardinal again. So you have the energy of shift and flux and change, and this could mean that life around you is always changing or is always changing. Now the ascendant is a very important part of you. It is how the world perceives you. So when you walk into a room, people view you and observe you through the filter of your ascendant sign. Okay, it is the Jungian mask you wear, the filter with which you interact with society. It is how you look, how you present yourself. It's a huge part of you, okay? And with your Aries ascendant and your purposeful stride, the edginess in your eyes, you're definitely the archetype of the leader, the pioneer. You're dominant, you're not afraid of eye contact, and also, although I have to say that you have two introverted placements happening as well as this hugely extroverted placement. So Virgo and Cancer are quite introverted because they are yin and they are the realm of emotions and healing. So, you know, you are less yang than say an Aries, Leo Aries, or an Aries, Leo Sag. You have the balance of fire, earth, and water. So you have the creativity, the go-getter energy, as well as the meticulous detailing and service-oriented energy of Virgo, as well as the compassionate, empathic, psychic energy of Cancer. So if you know how to work through three of them, then you have a very well-balanced personality. Now the ascendant is the degree of the zodiac rising on the eastern side of the horizon at the moment of your birth. And the sign on which it falls is your ascendant sign, is your rising sign. And it's also how you look, I told you. So remember that Aries rules the head, and it's ruled by Mars, the god of war, conflict. But don't think Mars is just about war or conflict. Mars is also our action principle, our I do principle. So this is, without the I do principle, we get nothing done. It is what in Sanskrit is called Ichha Shakti. Okay, without that, we can't get anything done. It is a masculine, yang impulse to grow, to you know, conquer. Okay, it's very important, but everything must be kept in a balance. So now, as I said, with your Aries ascendant, your head is in focus, so definitely very prominent, piercing eyes, edgy look in your eyes, which could lack compassion, but I don't think so. Cancer sun, but you could be just really thin lips, narrow jaws, prominent cheekbones. You're just more masculine, the Aries energy, but maybe not this particular combination with Virgo and Cancer. But generally I've seen Aries ascendants, they like to keep their hair short. They appear more masculine, even if they are females. So there's just a lot of restlessness, a lot of impatience, a lot of, you know, edgy energy with this. This Martian aspect can make you very edgy if you don't work out, if you don't hit the gym or do yoga. Yoga should be very good for you because Virgo is known as the yoga bunny. We'll get to that in a bit. Now, if you suffer, if Virgo is your 6th house and you have a 6th house moon, So, and Virgo rules the digestion. So you could have digestive ailments if you're given to too much hypertension, worry. You can have high BP, migraine. Also, hard aspects to Mars could mean that you have thinning, brittle hair. Too much fire can burn it out. Glasses. Even if you don't have power, you could just slap on a pair of shades because that's just your style. You like to accentuate this part of your being. And be careful of ENT issues, also sensitivity to gum and gums and teeth. I would say migraine, classical migraine, what you eat. If you don't eat correctly, you may develop migraine. You have a very swift metabolism, you're very swift moving. Anyway, your movements are very swift. The Cancer sun may slow it down, but you're just very swift. You're very impulsive, temperamental, and during hard aspects to your natal Mars or by Pluto or by Saturn, be careful of violence, fire, road rage, driving under the influence, guns, heavy machinery, and all of that. Okay, so now Aries is the infant of the zodiac, because after the 30th degree of Pisces, the soul enters Aries with a mini Big Bang, and all is born anew, right? So we have freshness, we have vibrance. Even with the sun coming into Aries, we have the spring season in the northern hemisphere. And so all the shadows and the lessons of Aries has to do with this infant growing up. And growing up is not an easy process. We have our aches and pains that we have to deal with. Everyone has to deal with them. So it's not something that only you have to deal with. And the integration of the shadow side of Aries is growing up and maturing. Because the soul ruler of Aries is Mercury. And thereby immediately you understand that Aries is about higher wisdom. Aries is about a connection to the Antahkarana, which Mercury builds, a bridge of sorts between the divine world and the world of matter. So you are the pioneer. You're definitely going to go ahead and do what you want, and the selfishness comes with this energy. So Stephen Forrest, the eminent astrologer, says that the goal of Aries should be enlightened selfishness. Simple. Soak in the agitating fires of Aries, gain new experiences, but always realize this is not an easy energy to work through. After all, it's a domain of the malefic Mars. So, it's best to just live in your authentic, inner authenticity. Also, this the question of our inherent worthiness can pop up with an Aries ascendant, especially with the Virgo moon and a Cancer sun. So worthiness is something you acknowledge yourself. Externally, nobody will acknowledge. People don't. So this inherent worthiness, always know you're worth it. Always be bathed in self-love. Okay, that's important. And not just narcissistic self-love. Because that's the shadow side of Aries. Egotism, narcissism, sadism, being the dominant and showing it. Now the moon is the very antithesis to the ascendant. If the ascendant is the Jungian mask, the moon is who we are when the mask comes off, and we are in our vulnerable self. So moon is our mother, our childhood, our habit patterns, everyday habit patterns, how we emote, how we connect, how we express, how we nurture, how we were nurtured, the idea of home. All this is the moon, right? It rules your sun, by the way, 4th house, Cancer. And you have a 6th house, Mercury ruled Virgo moon. 6th house deals with hidden enemies, everyday work, health. So having your moon in Virgo, moon is not a good position in Virgo because moon is exalted in Pisces, and Virgo is the polarity of Pisces, so moon is in her fall, cannot express herself in the Mercury ruled Virgo. Okay, but interestingly, the sole ruler of Virgo is the moon. Actually, the moon veils Vulcan, who's the goldsmith of the gods, and the job of Vulcan is to shape our soul from lead to gold. So it's about alchemy. You see how Virgo is ultimately about acknowledging that the Christos principle gestates within this physical body, and to acknowledge the sanctity and the sacredness of this physical form. That is the ultimate understanding of Virgo. But the moon sign, according to esoteric astrology, can become your greatest challenge after the age of 35. So to understand the energy of Virgo is very important, to then work through any shadows that might appear. Being overcritical, controlling, manipulative, nagging, all this is the lower vibration. Your mom may have been all these things, or your mom may have been of service to the world and may have been meticulously detailed oriented. Virgo is, you're very practical and very solid. You don't give into emotions, but you're very sincere. And with a Cancer sun, I would say you are very sincere, because Cancerians are always also very sincere. You have a moon motif happening and a Mercury motif happening. Sole ruler of Aries is Mercury. Sole ruler of Virgo is moon, but veils Vulcan. And Cancer is the fourth sign of the zodiac, and Sun in Cancer is in fall. Okay, so it's not a good position. This is the first sign of emotions, water, cardinal. It's when we learn to communicate, and we learn the sanctity and safety of home and hearth. Fourth house is the foundation. So fourth house sun, your father was very important to you. You may have been very emotional as well. Okay, maybe more so than your Virgo moon, which signifies your mother. So your father may have been very, very much connected to his mother or his childhood. And if you have hard placements to your sun or to your moon, both are in fall positions, then a lot of wounding could appear because of your childhood. Cancer also has to do with childhood. The sun, as I said, is your goals, your ambitions, the outward projection of your internal key, and your father. So all of this means that, and sun is how you want the world to perceive you. So you're very empathic, psychic, compassionate, and the world sees that, and you want the world to see that, so you put out that side of you, although you do come across more to strangers through your Aries ascendant. They see you as an Aries ascendant, but once they get to know you, you start revealing your sun and then your moon. Okay, now sun in Cancer, you are very important, security and safety and home and hearth, and being nurtured and nurturing your family as a father or as a mother is very important to you. Your goals and ambitions are very service oriented again, so you could be a social worker with your sun in Cancer and your Virgo moon, very much of service. And if you know how to ground that Aries energy and you can utilize it in its higher emanation of movement and impetus, then you may move from one thing to the other and be able to initiate very many community healing based experiences for people. You may be a healer, you may be into medicine. With Cancer, Cancer is always about acknowledging that humanity is the home. Okay, ultimately that is the most brilliant emanation of Cancer. So helping people is big, and the esoteric ruler of Cancer is Neptune. So there's a psychic, spiritual side to this energy, and we have to acknowledge that. You have to acknowledge that, even though you have an Aries ascendant, which is oftentimes close to spiritual experiences. But remember that Aries is also a sign of death, which means there's tremendous transformational potentiality in Aries, and it's all about higher wisdom. And how do you take that higher wisdom and how do you put it out and serve humanity? How can humanity become your family? very good with detailing with your Virgo moon, so you utilize that and get things done and completed. So that was a bit about Aries ascendant, Virgo moon, and Cancer sun. Please comment, like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.